Hi, I'm Professor John Walcott, and I teach MSFS 646, Media and International Relations, in the spring semester. My class has three primary objectives. The first one is to study the relationship between the media and public information and foreign policy diplomacy. The second objective is simply critical thinking, learning to analyze what's read, what's said, and evaluate the accuracy of it, the value of it. We're living in a society that is drenched in information. And the more information there is, the more important it is to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. The third objective is the simplest of all, and that is to teach the students how to write with the greatest possible clarity, force, and economy. We live in a society in which time is of the essence, and so all of us need to learn to write as efficiently, economically as possible. The class is open to students in all concentrations in the program. It's not geared to people who want to be professional journalists. That's a career that's changing so fast, I'm not sure you could teach journalism anymore. Graduates of the program have gone on to careers in the Foreign Service of the United States and other countries, in the intelligence services of this and other countries, and to careers in business, in finance, in investment, and some to careers in the media. Again, coming back to what I said a moment ago, the value of being able to write and speak clearly is at a premium in virtually every career you might care to choose. It also gives you a little more versatility in choosing a career. I would encourage you not to think that you have to choose a career at the age of 29 or 30 and stick with it for the rest of your life. And your mobility is greater if you can carry with you those skills of reading, writing, and speaking. I've been a journalist all my life. I was national security correspondent at the Wall Street Journal, chief diplomatic correspondent at Newsweek magazine, foreign editor and then national editor at U.S. News and World Report, Washington bureau chief at Knight Ridder newspapers, and then later McClatchy newspapers, and now the team leader for national security and foreign affairs at Bloomberg News. And I am currently working on a new project in addition to my job at Bloomberg and my teaching here at Georgetown, which is a movie project with the director and producer Rob Reiner about work that my team did at Knight Ridder evaluating the Bush administration's allegations about Saddam Hussein's relationship to al-Qaeda and his weapons of mass destruction program. The class meets for 2 to 2.5 hours once a week in the evening, starting at 6:30 p.m. It's structured chronologically, so it begins with the history of the news media as it evolved from twin roots. The first one being the translation of the Christian Bible from Latin into English and German, and the effect that had on literacy rates and so on. And then the evolution of the Western media from those roots into its current form. And it ends, and a greater part of the class every year is now devoted to studying the effects that social media and the new means of communication are having on international relations, how we evaluate them, how they're reported, how governments can function in this media-drenched environment. There's a very heavy emphasis on writing in the class, including some very short assignments. There's some early assignments in this class that are literally one paragraph long, again, to stress the importance of economy in writing and in distilling large amounts of information into a digestible bit that you can either write as an executive summary in a longer paper, or if you happen to bump into a superior in an elevator or in a hallway, communicate to them very quickly an idea that you've had. So there's a heavy emphasis on writing, starts with those one paragraph papers, and it ends with a longer 2,000, 2,500 word research paper at the end of the course, which is the single most important part. Secondly, there's a very heavy emphasis on discussion in the class, on students learning from one another, on taking advantage of the diversity of the student body here at Georgetown. And I bring in a number of outside speakers from the CIA, from the State Department. One staple of the class has always been and will continue to be former Deputy Secretary of State Rich Armitage, who's kind enough to come in every year and talk about his experience. So the interesting thing about this is none of us really knows what these new media are doing, what effect they're having. So we bring in other folks who are studying that in the intelligence agencies and elsewhere and explore it together. And that's a very, very important part of the class, is not just the diversity in the student body, but the diversity of opinions among the speakers. We've had people from Twitter, from Facebook, from other institutions that are at the forefront of this changing media environment.